So hello everyone, my name is Damiano Borgogno from the United Nations Development Programme, and in collaboration with the PCCB and the UNSC Secretariat, we have organized today, December 5th, 2019, the Transparency Day here in Madrid at COP25. It's been a very interesting day. We have had the pleasure and the luck of having 7 different opportunities to discuss and speak on different aspects on transparency. Transparency, for those of you that may not know, is one of the key components of the Paris Agreement, and it's all about allowing countries to have the proper capacities to monitor their emissions and to report on them, as well as to monitor on how the implementation of climate action or mitigation, adaptation is going. This monitoring, this understanding, this climate data is fundamental because you cannot manage what you cannot measure. I mean, measuring means controlling, and controlling means understanding. And this is fundamental to provide database information to policymakers, who will be the one that will support the implementation of the National Climate Action Plans, or NDCs.
We just had a very good side event at the PCC Capacity Building Hub on how countries can make their way towards the enhanced transparency framework under the Paris Agreement. We first explained what the new requirements are. We spoke about a roadmap tool that is being developed to help countries find the necessary steps. And finally, we spoke to a number of countries. We had a really great panel and got a lot of ideas what countries can do and what they already do.
My key takeaway of our session that we just held on how to engage stakeholders on MRV systems and transparency is that data collection is a problem, and data availability, but it's very important to start with what you already have, even if it's international available data.
We can also use a legal instrument to improve your data collection and try to, on the way, to improve more and more your data collection.
You're always improving your MRV system, and even over time, even the countries that have been doing MRV for the longest period of time are still improving. So it's a long process, and treat it as such.
I think one of my key takeaways from this session really is listening to the governments and also understanding why data matters for decision making, and also why these tracking tools are important, is that we need to be aware of the importance of data, but not only of the importance of data, also the importance of the experts consolidating this data. A lot of times we realize that, the complexity of our landscapes, the complexity of the information that's coming in, and also the finances for climate action. So really to take all of this forward, and for our leaders and our decision makers to do proper climate action, they need good data and the right data.
So it's obvious that countries need capacity building both for planning at the country level, but also to be able to report to their international obligations. And therefore providing platforms such as Aid Atlas can help countries visualize, get a good picture of how much development finance is coming in the country, and help them question very interesting questions on what the impact of finance and climate finance in their country is.
Transparency is a key aspect of ambition, and countries are doing its best, and they are advancing a lot in increasing transparency, but there's still a lot of capacity building needed in order to be able to comply with the enhanced transparency framework requirements. From the peer-to-peer session, my main key takeaway is that there's a lot to be learned from countries to country. This idea of that some developed countries are the ones that have to come and teach the developing countries actually is not working anymore, and developing countries from South-South cooperation, I think, is something that we need to take. I think South-South cooperation definitely provides a lot to the countries, and we are advancing a lot and sharing experiences from same context, maybe same language, is a key aspect in order to advance faster to be able to comply with the transparency requirements.
As I said, we had 7 different side events. We discussed several aspects. Certain elements that I really liked was, for example, on this initiative called Capacity Building Initiative for Transparency, or CBIT, which was launched by Jeff in 2016. And it's an initiative that provides resources to developing countries to enhance their transparency framework, as we say. We had the presentation by 4 developing countries in this session, those being Costa Rica, Mongolia, Armenia and Colombia, and it was very interesting to hear how each country, based on their national circumstances, is moving forward in enhancing national capacities to be able to understand what are their emissions, where they come from, and being able to track their action. Hoping also other participants had considered this meeting interesting, and wanted to thank PCCB and Secretariat, and hope we'll be able to have further opportunities for these kind of gatherings and opportunities to meet. Saludos desde Madrid.